Hello YouTube. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a while. If you know me, you know I love Rose Ouds. I know that a lot of people hate on Rose Ouds, and I think that's because they really haven't smelt good Rose Ouds. You know, they look at Gucci Guilty, Oud Absolute, or something like that, or the Versace Oud, or whatever there is out there. But they never actually get around to smelling a real good Rose Oud fragrance. And to me, a real good Rose Oud fragrance has nothing to do with whether the oud is natural or not, or really whether the rose is natural or not, to be honest with you. A lot of people are a big stickler about having all naturals in their fragrance, and that is something that I think is important. But at the same time, I think that the blending itself is just as important. That's why there's really only 2 fragrances that are from an indie house here. I think a lot of indie houses, they don't really do the Rose Oud right. I'm just gonna be 100% honest with you. I think the French does Rose Ouds better, and that is simply because I think that the French is masterful at putting the right amount in there. I know a lot of the Middle Eastern houses, they put way too much oud in there. The rose can barely get through, or it's way too much rose, not enough oud, not enough to balance it out. And I really don't like some of the Middle Eastern style of perfumery. There's a whole controversy into that, and I might go into that some other time. So anyways, without any further ado, the first fragrance I'm going to mention actually has no oud in it, but it has an oud accord. And it is Promise by Frederic Malle. Now you might say, how am I doing a Rose Oud fragrance video without having a note of oud in this fragrance? Because Frederic Malle has made an accord out of Nagarmotha, which is also cypriol oil, patchouli, some woody notes, some incense, etc. And this is a beautiful, lush rose, absolutely beautiful. I'll be doing a review on this, so I really don't want to go into too much detail. But a great fragrance. It has no oud in there, but I wanted to mention it anyway because it's more of a faux oud. Up next is one that really isn't a rose oud in a classic type of, what you would consider to be more of a classic type of way, but it is a rose oud. I was looking back there because it looked dirty, but it's just the way the light's hitting it. Huh. The more you know. And this is Deviant by Wesker Parfums. This is a stripper Rose Oud. It smells like if a stripper was in Rose Oud. Let's say if we're in Dubai somewhere and we go to a strip club, this is what I expect the women to be wearing. Very sweet, very fruity, a candied fruitness. It really does smell like candied fruits, and I love that about this scent because it's the most realistic smelling candy fruit note I've ever smelled. It's not like a synthetic candy dude, even though there is some synthetics in here, but. And then it comes with a nice red rose. This isn't the stem of a rose. This isn't the roots. This isn't the little flowers or thorns. This is a red rose. It's a really red fragrance. And there's some oud in the base of it. A smoky type oud, really smoky. It almost comes off as more of there's a tobacco in here, but there's also oud. And I think that the tobacco and the oud work together to create this cigarette type of note. So, very nice fragrance. Doesn't smell like cigarettes, but can kind of give off that vibe. And up next is really a fragrance that has rose and oud in it, but it really isn't a rose oud classic smelling per se. But I do think it is a very, very good fragrance. Surprisingly well complemented. And that is Dixit and Zach Emperor's Court. Right off the top, it smells like a classic Chypre fragrance. Classic Chypre. But the thing is, when it dries down, You get beautiful sandalwood right off the top as well, all the way through the fragrance. You have a nice oud note in here, multiple ouds, but then you also have a nice rose note. I think there's 2 or 3 different types of roses in here, but it's done in such a way, and the fragrance comes off in such a way, and I think this is a very, very good illustration of that. I have not tried Oud Rosa from Dixit and Zach. I'll probably be getting that pretty soon if it's still available online on Nas Perfumes. I don't know why every time I go to do a video, my nose starts stopping up. Or I feel like I get something in my contact. I have no idea why. But the way that the rose and oud is layered in here, they don't come out at the same time. So technically, it's not a rose oud, but there's still rose and oud in here. And they still come out in the fragrance, but they don't come out at the same time. This is natural and artisanal perfumery done right. Dixit and Zach. Up next is a fragrance that probably kicked off the rose oud side of things in the designer world. Now this is a rose oud, but it is also a mossy, chocolatey fragrance with some truffle. And that is Tom Ford's Noir de Noir. Right off the top, you get rose, truffle. You get some chocolate and moss, and some oud, synthetic oud, of course. But man, this is some sexy stuff. This really is sexy. Still in 2022, this is probably the sexiest fragrance that Tom Ford has. I know some people say they don't like it for whatever reason, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, wear this on a date and you're going to get some positive reaction. I'm not here for compliments. I really don't like compliments. I get self-conscious when someone mentions me having a fragrance on, but when I want to smell good at a sexy time, I wear this. And I always say that these bottles are I think they're a sexy bottle. I wish they had a better cap. Look. I'm holding it with my ring finger. I wish they had a better cap, but at the end of the day, a very beautiful fragrance. This is down to the last 5. So this is 9 oud fragrances, technically 8. But I'm gonna go with this one. This is Oud Palau from Diptyque. Now, Oud Palau is a fragrance I can wear every single day. I think this is probably 100% synthetic, even though they claim to have, I think it's Bulgarian rose in here. Might be a little bit of natural rose, probably a lot of synthetic in here. It's a lot of synthetics in here, but it does smell good. I can wear this every single day and have no problem. I have worn it sometime a week in a row. Probably like 3 or 4 days, but absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's not the most natural smelling thing. It's on the skankier side of things, but I can totally wear it. I prefer this to Oud Ispahan, and I have a sample of Oud Ispahan. I don't know where it is, so I'm really not going to speak on Oud Ispahan, but they compare Oud Ispahan to this a lot, and I prefer this one because it's on the skankier side of things, where Oud Ispahan has that rose oud note with a pleather car interior. This just amps up. This is just leather oud, not leather. This is rose oud and skank. A lot of skankiness. I love it. And down to the last 4. This is one you can't get anymore. And I'm just going to say that off the bat. This is one you cannot get. And this is Rose Nacree du Desert by Guerlain. Dang, there's a lot of dust on this bottle. No wonder I feel like I get something in my eye every time because it's so much dang dust. Let me get this going in there. Let me spray on. I have a scent here, so. Oh, man. Rose, oud, and patchouli. That's what I get out of Rose Nacree du Desert. It's very green patchouli. Starts almost off like the patchouli in Monsieur by Frederick Mall. But then the oud comes out, and the oud is really a sweaty, heavy oud. It really is. It's very sweaty, very heavy, almost like if you were in a Middle Eastern supermarket, not necessarily a supermarket, but you were out in the markets, out in the open, and this man just covered in oud and BO came walking out. That's what I would get. And then the most beautiful tender roses. I think there's like 3 roses in here. Just beautiful, tender. You have the red rose, you have the pink rose, and then you have the stem and the roots and the thorns and the rose petals. Absolutely beautiful. Can't get it anymore. I need to wear it more. I really do. It's a beautiful fragrance. Up next is and it's been a long time since I've wore that. That's why I had to spray it. I couldn't get anything off the top. I'm going to split this up. Because I don't want to have 2 of the same brands at the top. And I want to say this is Ombre Nomad by Louis Vuitton. And this is the newest bottle. This is a bottle from September 2022. Now, the rumors of a reformulation started back in July. So, I can say that if you bought your bottle before July, you're probably in the clear. Now, I'm going to be doing a video on whether this was reformulated or whether it wasn't reformulated. But there will be more on that. Beautiful fragrance. Honestly, don't know if there is any rose in here. Louis Vuitton does not state rose is in the notes. I think they might actually be using raspberry and some other fruits and florals to create a rose accord, but nonetheless, it smells like there's a rose in here. Absolutely beautiful. The oud in here, actually, this is real oud. Louis Vuitton has an oud distillery in Bangladesh. Beautifully blended. I love the apothecary style bottles. Very beautiful. I wish I was able to keep my fingerprints off of them, though. Up next is probably one of my top 5 favorite fragrances from one of my top 5 favorite brands. This one has also had a reformulation scare. I'm not sure. I don't have them. Well, I'm paying almost $400 for a bottle of Louis Vuitton. I might be able to pay an extra, $500-$600 for a bottle of The Moon by Frederick Mall. The newer juice is supposed to be a lot lighter. The lighter juice does not always mean reformulation, but it is an indication. A juicy, tarty, fruity rose oud. Absolutely beautiful. If my skin could smell like this 24/7, I would allow it to. Absolutely beautiful, real oud, real rose, incense, cardamom, spiciness, floral. Man, just every little thing you would want in a fragrance is in here. The sexiness factor is there, the compliment factor is there, long-lasting, well-projecting. It's multi-level, multifaceted, natural and synthetic, well-blended. Thank you, Julian Rascanet. Now, this last fragrance, I made myself look like a clown. I'm going to be upfront. I made myself look like a clown. I made a video stating that I would never buy it, and I bought it. And the thing is, I drove, after I made that video, I went back to Louis Vuitton, and I tried it on skin. I sprayed it all over me. I walked around the mall, went back to the hotel. I didn't even shower that night or the next morning. I wanted to have this fragrance. I got 2 free samples. I blew through the 2 free samples. I've been wearing it a lot ever since. Whenever I get a time to sit down and relax, I take a shower and spray this on. And it has been on this arm all day. I sprayed it on my arm at 9 this morning, and it is 9, hold on. don't know how to check the time without changing the video. It is 8:34. It's not 9, so almost 12 hours, and it is still on my skin. Now, it is a skin scent right now, but up until a couple hours ago, it was still projecting. So really a 10-hour fragrance, let's say. And I made a claim that I could not smell it on my skin for more than about 30 minutes. But boy, was I wrong. I was wrong. I'm wrong. I'm able to change my opinion. I think that this is something in the fragrance community that a lot of people don't let you do, and that is change your opinion. I can change my opinion on a scent. I can love one scent one day and hate the other. There might be a day that comes up that I hate the moon. Lord, I pray that it never comes to that, but there might be a day. However, I'm in love with this scent, and this is my favorite Rose Oud scent, and that is Les Sables Roses. Absolutely beautiful. I think there's 2 or 3 different types of roses in here. Bulgarian rose and rose de mai. There might be a synthetic supporter in there. Light touches of oud. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What the heck was that? Was that a bug? Shoot, I forgot to let my windows down. Crap. Absolutely beautiful. I know that there's some people say there's some similarities between this, and honestly, there is a little bit of similarities, but I don't think that it is really that similar at all. You just get a hint of one another. You just get a hint of this and this. That's really it. I mean, that's really it, literally. And I know a lot of people say that this is the same with this, but this has less oud and more rose, and this has more rose, less oud. I don't think that's so. I think that these are 2 completely different fragrances. Are they brothers and sisters? Maybe. Are they cousins? Maybe. Are they kissing cousins? Who knows? But I think this is an absolutely beautiful scent that is so underrated, and a lot of people are writing it off because at first they don't get good performance. At first you're not going to get good performance, but you need to get some air in this bottle. And when you get some air in this bottle, it really starts to turn to magic and open up and change and develop. And it really wears a lot better on your skin when you do that too. Well, 17, almost 18 minutes in, and these are my favorite Rose Ouds. So I hope everyone has a great day.